If you're like me, then when you're shopping for food, you might reason as follows. This product says it's all natural and organic. It must be better than this other product that doesn't say any of those things. If you reason like this, then you've committed the appealing to nature fallacy. You commit the appealing to nature fallacy when you reason as follows. X is natural, therefore X is good, either prudentially, which means makes your life better, or morally, which means you should do it or it's permissible for you to do it. Another way you might commit the appealing to nature fallacy is to reason from something being unnatural to it being bad. So you might say X is unnatural, therefore X is bad. That is, makes your life worse or is morally wrong. A third way you might commit the appealing to nature fallacy is by pointing out the fact that X is more natural than Y, and therefore X is better than Y. Here you're not saying Y is completely artificial or man-made or constructed. Instead, you're saying that both of them are natural, but one's being more natural than the other makes it better than the other. This type of reasoning is invalid because it's possible for the premises of the argument to be true and the conclusion false. Something can be natural but bad for you, and something can be unnatural but good for you. So let me give you a bunch of quick examples. Hurricanes and tornadoes, these are all natural things, but they're certainly terrible for you and your home. Or arsenic, lead, radon gas, hemlock, different kinds of poison ivy. All of these things are, again, natural, but they're terrible for your body. An example of something that's artificial or not natural but good for you would just be medicines. But you could also look at a variety of other technologies. You might wear glasses. These glasses are good for you in the sense that they allow you to see, but there's nothing natural about the pair of glasses or spectacles you wear. A lot of the examples you see where individuals commit the appealing to nature fallacy, what individuals will do is simply say, something is natural, therefore that thing is good. But there are more subtle forms of this appealing to nature fallacy. A less subtle but still pretty blatant one is just calling something organic, saying this thing is organic, therefore this thing is good for you or better than some non-organic alternative. Now, it may be good for you, but it has nothing to do with the fact that it's organic. Take an example of American Spirit cigarettes. On some boxes of American Spirit cigarettes, it says made with 100% organic tobacco. Now, does this imply that it's better than non-organic tobacco? Maybe in fact it is, but it's wrong to reason from the fact that this thing is organic to the fact that it's better for you than some other non-organic alternative. Now, some even more subtle examples have to do with associations of things with nature. So I love this example from Chesterfield cigarettes, and they say that their cigarettes are better than alternatives because the tobacco is sun-drenched.
Sun-drenched hot tobacco's gonna mean that you're smoking smoother and you're smoking clean.
In calling the tobacco sun-drenched, you get this idea of in your mind of the sun shining on the tobacco, its association with nature, and therefore that this particular tobacco is healthier for you or better for you than some alternative. Another example involves Salem cigarettes. In one particular commercial, they associate Salem cigarettes with springtime, and that when you smoked these cigarettes, you were breathing in fresh, cool springtime air.
The gentle sounds of springtime seem to say relax and be refreshed. And just as gently, Salem brings you springtime refreshment. For Salem special paper, air softens every puff, breathes in fresh, cool air.
Again, we have an association with some aspect of nature. Springtime, cool, fresh air, the dew on the ground with something else. And so the claim is that these Salem cigarettes are natural or have this association with nature, and therefore they're better than some alternative. In both the case of the Chesterfield cigarettes as well as the Salem cigarettes, no one ever actually says nature. Instead, there is a kind of conjuring or indirect reference to nature. Here's another example. Some individuals argue that more minimalistic running shoes promote a greater degree of natural foot motion, and more natural foot motion is good. Good in the sense that it reduces the likelihood of running-related injuries. So here we have an association between how it's natural for us to run and that thing being good for us. Another example, it wasn't until 1984 that women were permitted to run in the Olympic marathon. The reasoning went something as follows. It's unnatural for women to run long distances. They weren't made to do this. Therefore, it's bad for them. It's harmful for them to run long distances. Therefore, we should keep women from running long distances.
The race director wrote back and said women are not physiologically able to run 26 miles or to run a marathon, and we can't take the medical liability. At the time, I was running 40 miles at a stretch
So this again is an appealing to nature fallacy, because something is at least thought to be unnatural for women, therefore they shouldn't do it. Another example relates to childbirth. Now there's a couple of versions of this argument sometimes given. One involves just pointing to the fact that it's natural for women to give birth. Another involves that they have the natural capacity to give birth. So one version might be, well, since women have the natural capacity to be birth, therefore it's good for them to give birth. And even further, an individual might argue that they ought to be having babies. Again, this is an appealing to nature fallacy. Just because something is natural or an individual has the natural capacity to do something doesn't mean that they are morally obligated to do so, nor does it mean that it's prudentially good for them to do so.